And then there are reports now that Russia says it will help the United States negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. What kind of a deal with Iran do you want to do? You said they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, well, there are two ways Iran can be handled, militarily or you make a deal. I would prefer to make a deal because I'm not looking to hurt Iran. They're great people. I know so many Iranians from this country.
Well, not the leadership.
No, not the leadership.
The
no,
people.
They're very evil people. No, but the people of Iran are great people. But they had a tough regime, and they'd meet and they'd be shot in the streets. I mean, it was a tough deal. But I would rather negotiate a deal. I'm not sure that everybody agrees with me, but we can make a deal that would be just as good as if you won militarily. But the time is happening now. The time is coming up. Something's going to happen one way or the other. I hope that Iran, and I've written them a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them.
You wrote a letter to the Khomeini?
Yes.
The leader? When did you send the letter?
Yesterday.
And you said you better negotiate, or we want you to negotiate?
I didn't say you better. I said,
Okay.
I hope you're going to negotiate, because it's going to be a lot better for Iran. And I think they want to get that letter. The other alternative is we have to do something, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
You said you wanted to do the Golden Dome. You've got a lot of ideas for America. But then earlier you said you wanted to cut $1 trillion in defense spending, right?
I didn't say I was.
You're not going to. So I was like, which is it? Are you cutting defense spending, or are you building us up?
I never said defense spending.
Okay, because I think you were talking about denuclearization, and that's where the cutting of the spending came in.
I never said cut. No, it's not in these days. I'd love to cut defense spending, but not now. Because you have China, you have Russia, you have a lot of problems out there. No.
In fact,
no, what I have said is we spend a lot of money on nuclear missiles, nuclear weapons. The level of destruction is beyond anything you can even imagine. It's just bad that everybody has to spend all this money on something that, if it's used, it's probably the end of the world.
Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
You know, when I listen to these climate lunatics, and they talk about global warming, and they say the ocean's going to rise 1/8 of an inch in the next 300 years, and and nobody ever talks about nuclear weapons or some of the other things, but the nuclear weapons in particular right now. And they talk about the climate, and they talk about the dangers of the climate, but they don't talk about the dangers of a nuclear weapon, which could happen tomorrow. They say in 300 years, I watched Biden for years say the existential threat. He loved the term existential threat. Our greatest existential threat is from the climate. And I said, no. Well, the greatest is sitting in shelves in various countries called nuclear weapons that are big monsters that can blow your heads off for miles and miles and miles. And they never mention that. The level of destruction is beyond anything you can even imagine.
Donald Trump has warned monster nuclear weapons could end the world as he sounded the alarm over atomic Armageddon.
Everybody has to spend all this money on something that, if it's used, it's probably the end of the world.
The president issued the stark warning in a TV interview on Sunday morning after he floated new arms controls with Russia and China. In an interview with Fox News, Trump said he believes nukes are one of the greatest threats to mankind. The US has the second largest nuclear weapons stockpile in the world, with around 5,000 weapons. Russia has the most, with nearly 6,000, with China a distant third, with around 350. Nuclear weapons have only been used in anger twice, when the US bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end World War II. The 78-year-old went on to say that too many people are focused on claims of climate change, rather than tackling the global threat posed by nukes. The president said the threat of nuclear weapons is immediate, warning, it could happen tomorrow. Trump explained, I watched Biden for years say the existential threat is from the climate. I said no. The greatest is sitting on shelves in various countries called nuclear weapons that are big monsters that can blow your heads off for miles and miles and miles. Russia has repeatedly rattled the nuclear saber in the war in Ukraine, and Putin has long threatened the world with his ambitious super weapons, such as the Satan II nuke. Trump has long vowed to be the president of peace and said he wants to end wars worldwide, especially the raging conflict in Ukraine.
On Russia, if I may, President Putin is bombing Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do you still believe him when he tells you that he wants peace?
You know, I believe him. I believe him. I think we're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine. And Ukraine, I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that.
Shalom. Welcome to another video. And as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakhwadash. And next, double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the Great Millstone, who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of whether people hear or whether they forbear. All right, so I'm going to go into the topic of President Donald Trump talking about if nuclear war broke out, that it would be the end of the world. Okay, and that's exactly what it's going to be according to biblical prophecy. All right, we speak on these things all the time. Okay, and this shows us that the elites, they're aware of the prophets, they're aware of the ministry, and they're aware, most importantly, of what the prophecies say about them and the downfall of their society. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right into this topic. All right, how righteous I mean the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. All right, so I'm gonna start off here in the book of Hosea, chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Okay, so that's how the Most High speaks. Okay, he speaks through the mouths of the prophets. Okay, now let's read what he's saying. Okay, let's go to Isaiah 34. All right, and I'm gonna get this in the King James Version. Okay, Isaiah 34 and 1. All right, it says, come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all the things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Okay, so this next world's war that's coming, okay, will be the end of all the heathen nations and their rulerships, okay, all the militaries. There is going to be no winners in this World War III, okay, as President Donald Trump said. All right, the end of the world pretty much as we know it. All right, it says, their slain shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. Okay, and the mountains represents governments. All right, the blood, all right, of the soldiers will be all over the nations. Okay, the Lord is going to splatter all these different nations. He's going to burn them with nuclear fire. Okay, but primarily America, Babylon the Great. All right, it says, verse 4, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. All right, that's what we saw in one of those clips that I put in the introduction of the video. You saw the nuclear mushroom cloud. Okay, so that's imagery. All right, the heavens being rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as a leaf falleth from off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Okay, so all their armies are going to be destroyed in this war. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Okay, and Idumea, that's the Greek word for Esau, for Edom. Okay, so this judgment is going to go up against the Edomites. Okay, this will be the end of their world, and these elites, they know that. Okay, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. All right, it tells you. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, and that end has been made manifest. Okay, nuclear warfare is the end of this society, the end of Esau's world, his government, his rulership. Okay, so let's go back. All right, they are the people of the Lord's curse to judgment. Okay, and that curse is the nuclear fire. Isaiah 34:6. Okay, it says, the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For Yahweh hath a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of Yahweh's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. Okay, let's read that in the NLT. It says, Isaiah 34:8 in the New Living Translation, for it is the day of the Lord's revenge, the year when Edom will be paid back for all it did to Israel. Okay, so essentially, all right, this judgment that's coming is coming upon Esau, Edom. They are the people of the Lord's curse to judgment. Okay, Esau, Edom being the so-called white man. Okay, this is what we've been reporting on. We've been prophesying of this for decades. All right, and now we're seeing these things come to manifest. Okay, World War III, race wars, class wars, civil wars, economic woes. That's why he said he wants to try to keep the peace. Okay, he said that I will be a president of peace, and there's not going to be any wars under my watch. Okay, but the Most High has a different plan, and this is the whole reason why, the controversy of Zion. Okay, let's get Isaiah, not Isaiah. Let's get matter of fact, we'll go here, Jeremiah chapter 51, and I'm gonna start at verse 6. All right, it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Okay, once again, this is what it's all about. Okay, and we've been reporting on this for decades. All right, when I say we, I'm talking about the prophets, the Hebrew Israelite prophets out there on the highways and byways. Okay, specifically those at the great millstone. All right, and those that preach a like-minded doctrine. Continuing on, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, and that represents riches, wealth. Okay, Babylon the Great is known for its riches, its wealth, its delicacies, its comforts. All right, it said that made all the earth drunken. That made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. All right. So that's what they're trying to do right now. Okay. That's the reason why, once again, in that verse 6, it said, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. It's talking about departing spiritually. Okay. And then Yahushua is going to come. All right. And he is going to actually physically deliver us. Okay. Spoken of in Revelation, the 12th chapter, Revelation 11 chapter and Revelation 18. All right. But once again, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. And balm is a healing agent. All right. That's what President Trump is trying to do. Okay. He wants to heal Babylon. He wants to reverse this curse that has been placed upon Esau and upon his kingdom. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Yahweh hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh our power. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're declaring it, all right, amongst our people and amongst all of the other nations, what the judgment of Babylon the Great is. Okay, and once again, this shows that he knows that. All right, he knows, according to what the prophets have been saying, all right, that this place is finished. Okay. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 43. It says, the king of Babylon have heard the report of them. And the king of Babylon is talking about Esau, Edom. Okay, with President-elect Donald Trump being the king of Babylon as of right now. Okay, and really the elites, because he's just a puppet. All right. But it says, the king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail. Okay, so what's the report? The report is us being out there prophesying of what's getting ready to happen to America. All right, nuclear war. Okay, he's heard the report of the prophets. All right, and his hands wax feeble. That's why he said, I'm not worried about global warming. Okay, I'm worried about nuclear warfare. That's the biggest threat to this society, to Esau's rulership. Okay, they're aware of that. Okay, and they're in anguish right now. Okay, pangs as a woman of travail. All right, so a woman in travail is in deep distress at that moment. Okay, just trying to get that baby out. All right. So they're aware. Okay. They're aware of the prophets. They're aware of what the prophecies say, and they're trying to reverse it. Okay. This is Job chapter 15 and verse 21. All right. It says, a dreadful sound is in his ears. That dreadful sound is once again the prophets being out there, okay, prophesying of their downfall. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. He wandereth abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish make him afraid. They shall prevail against him, as a king ready to the battle. Okay? So there's no escaping this. Let's read this in the NLT. All right? Job chapter 15 and verse 21, New Living Translation. It says, the sound of terror rings in their ears, and even on good days they fear the attack of the destroyer. All right, so this is on their mind heavy. All right, okay, you probably gonna see him start, his hair. I mean, he's already, I think he's 78. You're gonna see his hair go fully gray. He's probably gonna get all skinny, start aging real fast, because he knows that this is what the prophecies say is gonna happen, and we're right around the corner from this. All right. It says, they dare not to go into the darkness, for fear they will be murdered. They wander around saying, where can I find bread? They know their day of destruction is near. Okay, that's why Revelation 12 and 12 says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Okay, they know that this is fastly approaching. It says that dark day terrifies them. They live in distress and anguish, like a king preparing for battle. Okay, see that? So I'm going to keep reading. It says, for they shake their fist at the Most High, defying the Almighty. Holding their strong shields, they defiantly charge against him. These wicked people are heavy and prosperous. Their waists bulge with fat. But their cities will be ruined. They will live in abandoned houses that are ready to tumble down. Their riches will not last, and their wealth will not endure. Their possessions will no longer spread across the horizon. Okay, it says they will not escape the darkness. The burning sun will wither their shoots, and the breath of the Most High will destroy them. Okay, so there you go. All right, there's no getting away from it, man. Okay, but they are aware of it. All right, you can see the look on his face. He said, if we go into nuclear war, this will be the end of the world. His words. Okay, so he knows about the prophets, because we talk about this all day, every day, and have been doing so for decades. All right, so we're here. All right, hey, Yahweh Rajazah, this was edifying. As always, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakhwadash. All right, and until next time, Shalom, and abide the ball.